The Wayne County Commission Committee of Ways and Means budget hearing will now reconvene, will now convene. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Scott, Commissioner Baker McCormick,
Here.
Commissioner Marecki, Commissioner Clementi,
Here.
Commissioner Anderson,
Here.
Vice Chair Baydoun,
Here.
Chair Kinlock.
Present.
We have a quorum present.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda.
Item B, Chair's remarks.
I would like to welcome you to the first day of our budget hearing. For all of you all, the schedule is posted both on our website as well as is posted in conspicuous places in the building as well. So to the committee members, you have the schedule. You also have on that schedule, as you'll see, two hearings that will be held in the community. And so please be prepared to govern yourself accordingly and making sure that you give yourself enough time to drive to reach the locations. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Item C, approval of the minutes from the August 26, 2025 meeting.
So moved.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, this action stands approved. Next item on the agenda.
Item D, unfinished business. There's one item, number one is update regarding the Third Circuit Court juvenile attorney wages.
Yes, I want to start out by saying we appreciate the time that you all are taking to both come over here, but also to look into this issue. This was an issue that was brought to the commission and under the direction of the chair was sent to this committee to basically nudge things along or to keep an eye on it. And so I'm glad that you all were able to come and give us an update as we are in this budget process. We want to make sure that this is something that is being discussed by all the relevant parties to have some sense of this situation addressed.
There we go. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you for having us. Frank Hardister, Executive Court Administrator, Third Circuit Court. Chief Judge Frizard sends her regards, and she couldn't make the hearing today. But that said, I would like to introduce our newest CFO for the court, and that's Felix Awaku, who's joined me here at the table as well. Quick update on this particular topic. So we have been reaching out with the county executive's office on this topic. As we noted at the last commission meeting, we do support increases with the juvenile attorney compensation. Given the status of where we're at in the budget process, the county executive's office and the finance and budget office, obviously John's here, can speak for himself, but promise that this is something that we plan on working on continuously as we progress through the budget process, but most likely this would have to be something that would done after this particular budget would be approved.
Okay, let me ask the CFO for Wayne County. Is this something we can do as a technical amendment? And, we're still early enough, and, we do have a process where we can do technical amendments. That is something that I'm hoping that you all could come to some sort of resolution, since it's information out there, and we're in, the budget is open for these type of discussions.
Through the chair, something we're definitely still looking at. I mean, we're still evaluating it in terms of how to fund this program and just really understand it. So in terms of getting it done during the technical portion of this review, I'm not guaranteeing that, but definitely maybe early into the fiscal 26 season.
Okay, so we'll continue to keep an eye on that and try to, if possible. I know there's a learning component to this, but I'm glad that all parties in the course have always been reaching, since I've been on this commission, reaching out about the wages for all of the individuals who are touched by the court. So I do appreciate that, and the county executive has, and so has this commission been trying to right size a compensation. I also understand that we have some of the lawyers online. Madam Clerk, would you all, if you all would like to bring some comments at this time, I'd like you to raise your hand to be identified so the clerk can recognize you.
I don't know if you can see my hand raised. This is Attorney Mark Schreeman.
Haven't raised their hands. Okay. Well, I want to thank you for the update, and we'll continue to get some updates as this moves along. And thank you for appearing today.
Excuse me, I'm trying to input here.
Oh, let me ask, does any commissioners, any of you all have any questions of them at this time? Any questions? Sure. Commissioner Baker McCormick.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to clarify when you said you can look into technical amendments. Is there like a timeline on when that might be done? We know that maybe it won't be able to be done now because that's kind of revamping the whole budget, but do you have any timeline for what it might take to get us there?
Through the chair, I think maybe the first quarter of the fiscal year, new fiscal year.
Okay, so by March.
Potentially we could resolve it and get an understanding of how to fund it by that time frame, meeting with the team.
Okay, I recognize Chair Alicia Bell.
Thank you. We have a copy of Oakland County. So just as a point of information, you may want to see how much they budget to see if we could, because we have the individual line items, but what's their budget for this maybe get in line with that. That'll help us determining when we go through and look at our budget as well. So just information piece.
Yeah, through the chair, we have been gathering the various data from the other counties in this process. So.
Oakland is here. Do you have Macomb as well?
I believe we do.
Okay, and then look at then see what their budget for this, and then we can see what we budget for to get in line with the other two neighboring counties.
And if we can use that just as a basic benchmark, can you and I talk next week? Because I'm going to be circling with the administration about commission priorities. And if you could have that information as part of that conversation, that would be good. Yeah.
Sure.
And once again, thank you for appearing this morning. Yep.
Thank you.
Do you want to hear from any of us at all? I mean, I know Mr. Schreeman's here.
Okay,
Ms.
so we
Wright's
have two
here.
of the attorneys, if you don't mind, waiting who we're gonna connect them by phone. Yep.
Can Mr. Schreeman talk first? Will the commission allow that, please?
Recording in progress.
Mark Freeman, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
You may speak.
Thank you. First of all, thank you very much for addressing this issue. But I do want to point out to the commission that this is not a new issue. The former presiding judge of Wayne County Juvenile Court commenced a process more than 2 years ago and made recommendations to the court about making changes. And I previously provided that judge's recommendations to Ms. McCormick. The other thing I want to say is this is critically important now. We are losing attorneys left and right because of the huge disparity in pay scale. And while I appreciate that this is something that could be looked into, I certainly agree with the chairman's assessment that we should be able to make an amendment to this budget at this time. I have presented to you, and I appreciate that you have received and reviewed the disparity in income between Oakland and Wayne. And what that highlights, other than that we're being paid 50% of what Oakland County is being paid, is that we are losing a and if we really want to address the issue of preventing the pipeline from school to prison, we need to keep the attorneys properly compensated, motivated, and bring in new blood so that we can pass the torch to new, aggressive, idealistic attorneys. This is a critical issue, and I would just ask the court administration and the commission to address it now in this budget before we lose more attorneys and the remaining attorneys are completely overwhelmed by being overworked. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you. I appreciate your comment. And so with that, we will continue to monitor the progress as it relates to these discussions. And once again, thank you all for attending.
One second, Chair. Sorry,
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Attorney Rita White. There's a lot of echo. I don't know if it's just on my end, but I just have a few words to say regarding the pay increase issue.
Okay, proceed.
Yes, I totally join in Attorney Schreeman's statements and concerns regarding the actual increase issue. This is a dire issue. We are the largest county in the state of Michigan. And as we see the news, we see all of these reports about the youth curfews, issues with shootings, et cetera, et cetera. We're losing more than gaining attorneys, as was indicated by Attorney Schreeman. This is an issue, as I agree, that should be addressed exigently, given the fact that the more we lose, the more our community starts to break down even more. So I am just asking that the commission really look at this, and CFO also look at this sooner than later, because we don't want to make this a breakdown to continue the actual prison to pipeline process to increase, as it already has. And so I'm a younger attorney, not that much younger, because I was started in 2012 here, but in 2001 practicing. We don't have too many attorneys older than me practicing, and the younger ones we don't have coming in. So I'm asking that this issue be addressed exigently. Thank you.
And if I may, my name is Julie Nelson Klein, and I've been an attorney doing this work for almost 43 years. Yes, I'm aging myself, and I've done it primarily in the juvenile court. It's the most fragile court we have, that we represent children and parents who have all sorts of issues. I would be more than happy if anybody reaches out to me. As I said before, I have contacted all 81 or 80 counties, whatever they are in Michigan. I have their pay scales. And again, we are lower than low, but I'd be more than happy to share it. And again, I join with my brother and sister counsel asking to please address this issue, because I'm not planning on going anywhere. But again, there's very few that are younger than me and Mr. Schreeman doing this. A lot of them are older than I am. But thank you for considering this.
No, but thank you for bringing that information. I would like to remind the attorneys that if you have any information that you want to share to this commission regarding this matter, that commission, you want to send to the commission, that information should be forwarded to the chair, Alicia Bell, to her attention. May CC me as chair of Ways and Means, but any communication that you give to the chair, that you want the commission to have, and for it to be distributed to all the commissioners, that rests with the office of the chair of the commission, Alicia Bell. So just as a reminder.
Thank you.
Thank you. And at this time, I want to thank you.
One more comment.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So initially, they sent the information to my office, and I sent it over to you, both the chair and to the chair of the committee. So I just wanted to clarify that. I think moving forward that they have submitted in all of the information to you guys. But I do want to clarify if the court had a report prior to us engaging in this discussion, the 2 years prior to today, I guess. Did you have a report, and what became of that report?
Sure. Thank you. Just to be very clear, I started with the court in 2023, and I was aware that there was a committee working on this topic. And the committee included the presiding judge at the time of the juvenile division, as well as others within this juvenile community. A report was submitted to my office. I don't recall the exact date, but it was quite some time ago. And there was a transition at that time. To make it very clear, the court supports the fact that there increases are needed in attorney compensation, but there are factors on this particular topic that certainly involve the county. And so we have to engage the county as it relates to this because this particular line item is actually a fund that the county controls. And so we reviewed that report. We then subsequently reached out to the county, I want to say in May, with some information about this. We've engaged this in monthly conversations at the county executive level. And so here we are today.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify what transpired. Thank you.
Thank you again for attending.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very
Commissioner
much.
Wilson, you had
Thank you. Thank you, Chair Kinlock. Much appreciated.
Yeah, no problem.
Just have a quick inquiry. If this is a necessary expenditure and it's been ongoing for several years, I'm understanding. I've been on the commission for about 8 months, but I can hear, I can read, I can write a little bit. If this is necessary, what appears to be the impediment? What is the prohibition that keeps us separated for over 2 years? When you talk about the discrepancy in pay for attorneys over at Oakland County versus Wayne County. I mean, we all pride ourselves in sitting here as representatives of Wayne County. But if you got a delineation of 50%, some cases 25%, some cases even more than that, I don't understand. Help me out. I mean, what is the issue here? What seems to be holding us up from getting a fair resolution to this process of paying folks?
Yeah, and if I may, my thoughts on this are that it's a complicated topic, and the reason why it's complicated, it's very similar to what happened not long ago with the adult side of the attorney fee compensations. There was, you may recall the Michigan Indigent Defense Commission came about and they took over the appointment process and quite frankly, the funding process for the adult attorneys that are assigned to criminal cases. There was legislation that was similar that was moving to have this happen on the juvenile side as well. And at the end of the day, it's about where the funding comes from. And so that's the long story short answer to your question. It's a complicated issue, but we're eager and we actually do support the fact that increases are needed. And it's a matter of where those funds are going to be coming from.
Commissioner Peterson Mayberry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through the chair. I appreciate the conversation. I think when we've looked at the budget, we already see that there are huge gaps in personnel. And we're hearing that we are losing or not attracting people in this space. So I'm hoping that this is a resolution sooner than later. I don't know if we could go to January if people are pulling out or, going to other counties that are compensating them in a more fair and equitable manner, or if we're going to be able to recruit. So this is us trying to be proactive. We're driving down this road, we see caution tape, but we're still driving down this road expecting to not have this accident when we're hearing from those who are in this space. So I'm hoping that we can get to a resolution sooner than later.
Okay, thank you, Chair Bell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. May I suggest that when we have our budget deliberations for the circuit court, that you all bring us a number that we can work with based upon all the data that's already been established in the report that's already been done. And then we can go from there as to how we implement that into the budget. Thank you.
Okay. So you heard that. So we'll look to do this as a technical amendment. So let's have some conversations around that point. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Madam Clerk, next item on the agenda.
Item number 2, requesting commission approval of the recommended 2-year comprehensive executive budget and appropriation ordinance for fiscal year 2025, 2026, and 2026, 2027, including the recommended operating budget plans for fiscal year 2025 and the projected budget for fiscal year 2026, 2027.
A motion is in order to pass for the day.
So moved.
Moved and support. We'll hold off on that motion. We did it at the first meeting, but we'll hold off until after this presentation. Okay. continue, Madam Clerk.
Have a presentation from the CFO's office.
Okay, well, good afternoon, Chair Bell, Committee Chair Kinlock, as well as this commission and honorable body, and commission staff, fiscal staff. Good afternoon. My name is John Wallace, as you know, the Chief Financial Officer of Wayne County. And it's a pleasure to be here today to present to you this county's 11th balanced budget, this administration's 11th balanced budget. Here today, I have James. James, introduce yourself.
James Tatum, FP&A consultant in Department of Management and Budget.
And I have Scott. Go ahead.
Good afternoon. Scott Vandenbergel, Director of Assessment and Equalization.
And they're here to assist with any questions that may come from this body. But first, I want to acknowledge all the stakeholders and staff and folks that got us here today. First of all, I want to thank the CEO, Warren C. Evans. Also want to thank Assad Turfy, our Deputy County Executive, along with our COO, Janelle Allen, and Corp Counsel, James Heath, for all their support in helping us get this budget forward. But most importantly, I want to thank our budget staff for all the work that they have done, putting in the long hours. We've been short-staffed over the last year and a half or so, with some turnover and some folks out sick. So our team definitely stepped up and put in the work. I also thank our directors and executive department, as well as elected offices and officials, for all the work they did to get us here. And most importantly, thank Commission. Thank you for being patient during this year's budget process. And in particular, I want to thank Terrence and Mary and Stacy for all the hard work that they do to analyze and review this budget. In terms of this budget, the executive told a story and set priorities during the State of the County address a few months ago, and this budget is to show how we fund those priorities as well as the operations of Wayne County. So I'm going to go over just a few, maybe 5 or 6 of those priorities that the county executive laid out just real briefly. Then I'm going to turn it over to James, and he's going to get into a little bit more detail and take a deeper dive. But first, I want to talk a little bit about where we're at today. This administration has overseen annual surpluses since 2015. In fact, we added $30.9 million from 2024 operations. We started off the year with a $419 million accumulated general fund balance, of which I think $371 million is unrestricted unassigned. In terms of the county's credit rating, we have upgraded our credit since this administration took over to below investment upgrade. Grade. We were at a solid A category right now. And about a year ago, Fitch, in fact, in 2024 September, moved our rating from an A to AA status. In terms of where we're going, this budget appropriates $2.264 billion relative to $2.306 billion from 2025. The general fund is growing by about $36 million to $836 million from $800 million. The non-general fund is decreasing by about $78 million to $4.28 billion from $1.506 billion. As I get into just high level some of the priorities, really 5 or 6 of them, this budget provides funding for programs such as in public health for fresh food initiatives and eyeglasses for children, and under the Vision program. In terms of public infrastructure, this budget provides Act 51 funding for road maintenance, roads, as well as bridges, with a goal of approximately paving 300 lane miles this next coming year. In terms of public safety, the very successful Violent Crimes Joint Task Force, there's funding in it for that, as a partnership with local communities to protect the already successful program in driving down crime rates, and the all-important juvenile and youth services with programs mainly surrounding prevention and diversion. And finally, one of the important programs that this budget also involves related to economic development, and really with the goal of retaining residents as well as attracting new residents where they want to live, work, and play. There's money in here for economic development as it relates to affordable housing under the home program. And those are really the high level priorities that's in this budget. But keep in mind, there's other initiatives throughout various departments that I'm sure we'll get into detail as we go through the hearings. But just to highlight two quick ones, there is money in here for the CJC operations as that facility opened in September of 2024, as well as funding for the continued transition to the cloud as we go live here next month and then also for hypercare, managed services and training. And with that, I'll turn it over to James to get into a little bit more detail.
Committee Chair Kinloch, committee members, I appreciate the opportunity to provide more detail to the 2026 recommended budget that was introduced by CFO Wallace. I'll reiterate some of the headline numbers for you, and I'm on slide 7. In fiscal year 2025, as of late July, total appropriations amounted to $2.306 billion. In fiscal year 2026, a recommended $2.246 billion is recommended across all funds, and that's a $42 million decrease. In fiscal year 27, there is a projected $2.17 billion in total appropriations. That's a $93 million decrease. This presentation focuses on the general fund as it is the county's largest fund. In fiscal year 2025, general fund appropriations amounted to $800 million and increased to $836 million, a $36 million increase. The general fund is the county's largest fund. It is its primary account, the main way that it pays for operations and services. The general fund supports 12 executive branch departments, multiple separately elected offices, and it subsidizes 26 other funds. The main method of resources for the general fund by which it pays for those services is taxes, fees and fines, and state and federal funds. Property taxes make up the vast majority of the revenue that the general fund relies on, and for that reason, we want to provide additional detail for it. But to provide that additional detail, I want to provide, a broader economic context. So the chart that you see on slide number 9 is of Wayne County unemployment, so unemployment specific to Wayne County. And of course, what you'll notice in that pink area is a very sharp increase that happens in 2020. And that is related to the COVID-19 pandemic. In May of 2020, the unemployment rate spiked to 26.4%. For perspective, if I were to broaden out the scale of that chart to reach back to the era of the Great Recession and the economic immiseration that followed, the unemployment rate peaked at 17.7% in June of 2009. So if you think about how bad it was back then, in the immediacy of the pandemic, it was 10 points higher. What's also remarkable about this chart is almost as quickly as it rose, it falls very sharply. And we've had a remarkable economic recovery in the period that's followed. Unemployment was most recently recorded in Wayne County at 6.9%. That is a 1.6 bump above what it was recorded in June, which was 5.3%. We believe that the majority of that increase is due to seasonal effects. So you occasionally have auto plants that'll shut down for retooling, and those workers will be on unemployment. But then we expect in August for that unemployment rate to moderate and to come back down. Now on this next slide, which is slide number 10, after I provide the economic context, the kind of proof of that economic recovery can be seen in the county's property tax collections. In 2019, this committee considered the 2020 CEO recommended budget, and included in that CEO recommended budget was a 5-year projection, just the same as is included in this CEO recommended budget. The benefit of that forecast is we can look back in time and see what the county's perspective was on its economic fortunes pre-pandemic. In that forecast that was established in 2019, the county expected it would collect $1.596 billion in property tax revenue over the fiscal years of 2020 to 2024. In actuality, what it captured was $1.674 billion, a $78 million improvement over what was anticipated pre-pandemic. So on that slide, The solid line is what was actually collected, and the dotted lines are the projection. And that is despite the underperformance you see initially in 2020 and 2021. So from 2020 to 2021, the property tax collection rate fell from 91% to 84%, and then quickly rebounded in fiscal year 24 to 97%. That combined with the fact that taxable value has increased each year since 2017 is the reason why the county has had such impressive property tax collection. In fact, in fiscal year 2024, tax value increased by 7.8%. And we expect those increases to continue. And because of that, we expect property tax to continue to rise in fiscal year 26 and 27. The reason I want to focus on property tax, I did focus on property taxes, as I noted, it is where the majority of general fund revenue comes from, and it supports the initiatives that I'll detail now. So we divided the priorities that we want to speak about thematically somewhat similar to those presented by the county executive officer in his State of the County address, and it falls into public health, public works, public safety, and economic development. I want to speak about public health first. So there are the Well Wayne initiatives that I think people are familiar with. It is a collection of programs intended to improve the lives of Wayne County citizens, and I want to highlight just two. There is the Fresh Trucks Initiative. So much of human health is dependent upon the food you eat. And there are areas where it isn't that so much that people make poor choices with respect to their food, but they have few choices to make because they don't have fresh food around them. And this program, the Fresh Trucks program, is meant to ameliorate that. And $500,000 is invested in this program under this budget. In addition to the Fresh Trucks program, there's the Vision program, which is primarily focused on providing glasses to school-aged children. I can speak personally about the importance of having glasses when you're in school. I would not have been able to see the board. If I didn't have glasses, I probably wouldn't be here. $2 million is invested in this program. So in totality, $39 million is invested in Well Wayne programs, and we're just highlighting $2.5 million of that. I want to speak to specific programs. In terms of public works, in this current fiscal year, the Department of Public Works paved 100 miles of road and expects to pave 300 miles of road in this next fiscal year, in fiscal year 2026. Under the CEO's recommended budget, we propose spending $47 million on roads. In terms of bridges, in the current fiscal year 2025, 748 bridges were repaired by the Department of Public Works, and $35 million is proposed to be allocated toward bridges in this budget. On to public safety on the next slide. So, what is common, what you may have seen in the news, is that in the pandemic period, crime rose rather sharply in a lot of American cities like Chicago, Philadelphia. Detroit, thankfully, was able to avoid that trend. And so if you were to look at, for example, the homicide rate over the pre-pandemic period into this period now, what you would see for Detroit is a rather flat trend rather than to the spike that you saw in some other cities such as Chicago. And I think there's, of course, more research to be done, but there's a lot of credit to be had for the initiatives undertaken by Wayne County. And I want to highlight the Violent Crimes Joint Task Force, which is an initiative started by CEO Evans that collaborates with the courts and the city of Detroit to ensure that, the machinery of the criminal justice system continues to run. The second priority under public safety that I would like to highlight is the Moving Forward series. This is a series focused on juvenile delinquents, and it is run by a not-for-profit. I would note that of the $1 million spent on this specific program, $22 million in total is proposed to be allocated toward juvenile diversion. But what you can see from the crime data is that the majority of crimes committed by young men, which you could call their knucklehead years. And frankly, if you can make an intervention, it can pay benefits immediately, but then also in the future, because small petty crimes can become more serious crimes. Next, on to economic development. The one program that I would like to highlight is the HOME program, and that is $12 million invested in that program or proposed under this budget. That involves down payment assistance and closing cost assistance for new homeowners. Housing costs have, of course, risen across the nation, and Wayne County hasn't been exempted from that trend. And so this is an important program to ensure that Wayne County remains affordable for both the residents who are here and those who would like to move here. Wayne County employs thousands of people, and without these public servants, the initiatives that I highlighted likely wouldn't be successful and we wouldn't have reliable services. In the current budget, under the general fund, personnel expenditures are proposed to increase by $24 million in fiscal year 26 compared to fiscal year 2025. That is a 13% increase. The increases are primarily driven by what this administration has deemed collaborative bargaining agreements. And of the unions that are receiving an increase, the average increase is 1.8%. In addition to rewarding our public servants in the present while they're employees of Wayne County, there are also rewards for when they retire. We provide income benefits and retirement through our pension plan via Wickers, the Wayne County Employee Retirement System, and we provide retiree healthcare benefits with our OPEB plan. It stands for Other Post-Employment Benefits. At present, the pension fund is 70% funded, so the liability is the aggregated amount of the promises that we have made to workers to provide them income and retirement, and there are the assets that we have set aside to meet those promises. And when taken together, we've set aside 70% of what we need. The outstanding liability is $387 million, and we have diligently paid it down through the years. We have on the graph that you're looking at on slide 15, the contributions that have been made to both the pension plan and the OPEB plan from 2015 to 2024, and those that are budgeted for 2025 and 2026. The OPEB plan has a much smaller net liability of $57 million and is 45% funded. In fiscal year 2025, we will contribute $61 million and then $14 million toward the OPEB plan. And for the pension plan, it'll be about $60 million for the pension plan and $13 million for the OPEB plan. And that has been rather flat over the last few fiscal years. And I would add that Wayne County has made a lot of progress. Its pension plan was near 50% funded some years back, and via excess contributions, those above the kind of annual bill that the county receives, they've been able to build up to 70%, and we look forward to building up to 100%. With that, I conclude, and I would just note that this budget pays down liabilities, invests in our workers, and invests in public services. We appreciate your time and welcome any questions. Thank you.
No, so as in times past, and keeping with the past practice of this commission, this presentation is one that starts the budget hearing process. All questions will be reserved for the hearings. And so this is just a presentation that you make to this committee, and we will now begin to dive into everything you just stated as we commence the budget hearing. So I want to thank you for coming and making your presentation this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you.
Next item, Madam Clerk.
We have a presentation by the Auditor General's Office.
Okay, have the package been distributed? Okay. Good afternoon, Darcy. Marcy. No, because we're just talking about the Economic Development Department, the chair and I said, Marcy. Good afternoon, Darcy. Okay, cool.
Good afternoon, Marcy with an M.
Yeah. We work with Darcy a lot too.
I know.
Marcy Carl, Auditor General.
Sandy Otis, Deputy Auditor General.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity to present our budget-sensitive issues and the review of the September 30th, 2024 Annual Comprehensive Financial Report. We believe everything in this report will help you in your budget deliberations. We prepared this report for the Committee on Audit and the Committee on Ways and Means. It captures the budget-sensitive issues which may have a budgetary impact for fiscal years 25 and 26 budget hearings and beyond. The scope of this report is May 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2025. If you have any questions as we go along, please stop me. Some of this information has already been presented by the CFO in his presentation, but so I'll kind of go through it at a higher level. Revenues increased by $64.7 million, largely due to the increase in property tax collection, higher property valuations, and more user activity and public spending resulting from economic recovery. Increases in property tax revenue was $13.3 million. Interest from revenue and rent, $14.8 million. Increase in state grants, 16.3, and increases in charges for services revenue was 22.5. There was also an increase of $294 million in expenditures. This was attributable to compensation adjustments, retention, recruiting bonuses, retroactive wages, fringe benefit costs, capital outlay, and some expenditures were charged to ARPA funds in the prior year. Our impact action item on the general fund is commission leadership should request administration submit an annual report analyzing the costs of delivering mandated services and proposing service fee increases as deemed necessary. This is important that it's done annually because if you're going to have fee increases to match for the cost of providing them services, you'd want to have small incremental increases rather than at one time the food inspection program, they had waited 10 years and it was a significant increase in the cost of fees for services. So if you look at it annually, it helps in that aspect for the consumer. Next is the general fund balance. As the CFO indicated, the general fund balance went up $30.9 million. And within the report and on this chart, it shows you what the fund balances are. But what's most important is the unassigned fund balance is $371 million as compared to $334.8 million last year. Impact action item is commission leadership should continue to monitor the general fund balances and amounts allocated for the budget stabilization. And within our action report, we also provided for you as management's comments under each section of the report. Unassigned unrestricted fund deficits and deficit elimination plans. The unassigned unrestricted fund deficits at September 30th, 2024 was $2.5 million. Victim witness was $947,000. Raised age was about $159,000. Chapter 8 drains was $346,000. And central services was about $1.7 million. However, the only fund that required a deficit elimination plan was the victim witness fund, and that was submitted to the state. The deficit will be eliminated with resources that are available in the general fund. The deficit in the raise of age was primarily the result of expenses incurred in 24, but then the revenue didn't come in until 25. Our impact action item is to continue to request periodic monthly updates, which I would say request the monthly updates of progress in eliminating existing fund deficits and whether any other funds are going into the deficit prior to the fund actually going into a deficit. I think monthly reports from the administration would help with this.
So if those instructions aren't currently in the this fiscal year budget, would they be something that you would advise us to include in the next fiscal budget as far as the time frame?
Yes, and what we do is we normally take all of our impact action items and we submit them to Terrence, and it gets included into the budget instructions.
Okay, so that would be known for the record.
Mhm.
Thank you.
I won't go too much on the county debt bond ratings. The CFO went through this one. The Moody's rating remained stable. S&P and Fitch increased, all of them with a stable outlook. This just the impact item is continue monitoring the bond ratings and request administration to continue providing communications regarding changes in the bond ratings, because this helps with your funding your debt. Staffing shortages, overtime, and succession planning. This is very important to the county. While the headcount increased by 355 employees from fiscal year 23 to 24, there's still 75, in fiscal year 24, 75% of the budget positions were filled. However, 25% was unfilled. This was a good increase from the prior year where it was 70% were filled with 30% unfilled. The largest vacancies are in the sheriff's office, circuit court, and public services. Overtime, this is good news. Overtime costs decreased by $900,000, but still totaled $30.44 million in fiscal year 24. But actual overtime expenditures were over budget by $14.1 million. But what happens is the unbudgeted, unfilled positions that were budgeted helps cover the overtime over budget expenditures. By not filling the positions, you have money to cover the overtime expenditures. Succession planning efforts, which the county needs to continue with the succession planning because we need to get a stable workforce that is consistently in place so it helps with the learning curve once the employee's been in for a long period of time. They've implemented an Oracle learning module to help with professional growth. There's an integration of Open Sesame online learning platforms with extensive content libraries to develop cultural competency and compliance skills. They're also going to have quarterly coaching and feedback provided to employees through an Apex tool. This is important to get our workforce at a higher speed level. This is the impact action items for the staffing shortages, overtime, and succession. They should continue a detailed and comprehensive compensation analysis, including pay and benefits for all positions within the county, starting with the county mandated departments. Look at a countywide what-if analysis and improving employer health care benefits. I know we've done this over the last couple of years, but we should continuously be monitoring that. Continue monitoring reasons for voluntary employee departures and action taken to remediate recurring employee departures. Continue updates on the staffing shortages, progress of hiring initiatives, and the related impact on key county initiatives and mandated services. And then continued updates from PHR on the implementation of succession planning, because we always want to make sure we have somebody to step in line as an employee walks out the door. Retirement system funding, this has already been discussed. So we're currently at a 70% funding ratio. It's 9/30/2024, which is well in compliance with the Michigan Public Act of 2002. County contributions exceeded the required minimum by $14 million. However, the concern is there's only 76% of future benefits to pay the present retiree and beneficiaries. We'd like the pension system to be 100% funded. On the next page. But one issue with the retirement system is the pre-2002 retiree liabilities. In July of 2017, there was an agreement between the county retirement system and the Wayne County Airport Authority about a memorandum of understanding for the Wayne County Airport Authority's share of the retirement obligations for individuals employed by or retired from the airport prior to 2002, when the airport became the authority. The memorandum obligated the airport to make payments totaling $22 million over a 5-year period, which ended on September 30th, 2020, at which time the three parties would come together and determine if a new agreement was necessary. The county, Wickers, and Wayne County Authority have not come to an agreement on how the remaining liability will be settled. There's been no payments made by the Wayne County Airport for fiscal year 21 to 24 to fund the airport's portion of the pre-2002 retiree liability. So the
Let me
impact,
ask you a question. So, so what is the status of that part right there? As far as, are we getting updates on the status of any negotiations associated with this?
As we're aware of, there's no negotiations. So that's something that's part of our impact that we need to find out what the current negotiations are.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's request commission leadership, request management plan to resolve the outstanding retiree obligations. Delinquent tax revolving fund. There was a $10 million decrease in transfers to the county's general fund. In fiscal year 23, the transfer was $30 million. In 24, the transfer was $20 million. And we believe that the surplus transfers will continue to decline in future years. And the commission should request a development of an agreed upon formula with the treasurer's office calculating the surplus DTR funds that can be transferred to the general fund with the known surplus identified prior to the preparation of the annual budget, included in the annual budget, and finally transferred to the general fund, because once the excess surplus are transferred to the county funds, up to the commission how they're appropriated. But they have to be declared a surplus by the treasurer's office first. This is when we have every year, it's the tax reverted properties transferred to the land bank. In 2023, the treasurer's office and the land bank renewed their IGA, where the treasurer's office will transfer certain tax reverted properties to the land bank. The land bank agrees to obtain title and to demolish, manage, maintain, and market the properties in exchange for a per property amount paid by the Wayne County Treasurer's Office to cover the maintenance and administration. These are usually the properties that don't sell after the second sale. The most recent IGA expires on May 1st, 2026, but may be extended for an additional 3 years. As of February fiscal year 2018, the land bank had recorded $3.2 million in receipts from the treasurer's office for maintenance and administration of these properties, and had expended $2.8 million, leaving $321,000 of revenue in excess of expenditures that had not been spent as of September 30th. The impact action item is the commission should request the disposition of excess maintenance funds that are transferred and not expended in a fiscal year, and the need for the treasury transfer funds at the current rate. And the commission should also inquire if the method for transferring funds from the Wayne County Treasurer's Office to the land bank is appropriate. I believe this is an item that Commission Council has weighed in on the past. Because if the Treasurer's Office doesn't have to pay as much as they are for maintenance, and that would be money that would come to the commission as part of the surplus funds. Guardian Building and First Street Parking Deck. The Guardian Building experienced a net operating loss of $467,000 in fiscal year 24, primarily attributable to increases in expenses from repairs and maintenance, insurance premiums, administration, electrical, and janitorial services. In fiscal year 24, the occupancy rate was 88.3% compared to 87.5% in fiscal year 23, so a slight increase. The amount of unpaid rent did decrease to from $157,000 in 2023 to $148,000 in 2024. First Street Parking Deck holds 1,451 spaces, of which 1,385 were in use at the end of 24, a decrease of 240 spaces from fiscal year 23. The variance between leasable spaces and total usage, though, is common due to overselling parking spaces, knowing that everybody's not going to be here on the same day. The impact action item is the commission leadership should request that the Guardian Building monthly operating reports are forwarded to the commission for review to allow commission leadership ability to monitor revenues, occupancy rates, delinquency, and spaces leased. Implementation of the enterprise resource planning. Implementation of Connect 43 continues into 24 and is expected to go live October 1st, 2024. Just highlight the total budget for the project is $128.8 million. The total amount spent is $87.4 million, leaving approximately $41.4 million to complete the project. Impact action items: commission should continue to monitor the status of the ERP implementation and the county's progress as the system is rolled out. This one is important. The state and local fiscal recovery funds and the American Rescue Plan Act funding. As everyone knows that the county received $339 million in state and local fiscal recovery funds. Funding is expected to be obligated by December 31st, 2024, which it was fully obligated, but it must be fully expended by December 31st, 2026. There's still $39.6 million balance remaining in the Special Accounts General Fund Projects Fund. What the commission needs to monitor is request annual recovery plan performance reports to review the status of the amounts spent compared to the amounts allocated, because we want to make sure by December 31st, all amounts are spent, which is very vital. There was $117.9 million allocated for public health funding and employee benefits and compensation. So make sure we're requesting monitoring of that. Then monitor the status of the remaining $39.6 million in special account general fund projects that still have to be determined.
Okay, yeah, okay, Commissioner Marecki.
Thank you. So this 39 million, was that part of the funding that we put into the general fund projects that we have no date obligation to spend?
That's
anymore,
correct.
Right?
That's correct.
So that December 31st of 2026.
Would not apply to that. Correct. Everything that's been obligated, this is part of, that's that part of that
So we
fund.
can spend it.
Yes. We just want to make sure the commission has input in how it's spent.
Okay, thank you.
The last item, and this is important thing for the Committee on Audit, in the fiscal year 24 annual comprehensive financial report and single audit, there was 15 findings. 14 were financial statement findings and one was related to a federal program. Of the 15, 14 are considered material weakness and one is considered a significant deficiency, and 7 of the 15 findings were repeat. The impact action is the commission should request periodic reports from M&B regarding corrective action to address the notice findings, especially those repeat findings that could have an impact on the financial statement preparation, involve reporting requirements, and adherence to uniform guidance. And this is something we're working closely with the chair of audit to make sure we have reporting back to the committee on the status of corrective action on these findings, knowing that some of the fines will still be a repeat next year because by the time the audit was completed, the fiscal year had already been much in place. But we're hoping we can at least start removing some of them off by the following fiscal year. And that concludes our presentation. I don't know if there's any question, but first of all, I'd like to thank the commission for allowing us to come and present this budget sensitive report, and also thank my staff. Everybody takes a piece of the report and works on a different section, then we pull it all together into this report. Thank Danny for his assistance. This is his first budget sensitive that he was able to work on.
Welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Thank you. Okay, commissioners, do you have any questions? Any questions? Well, I want to thank you. Oh yeah, Commissioner Marecki.
You again. On page 11, you talked about the delinquent tax revolving fund. So there was a $10 million decrease in transfers to the county general fund, and you expect it to keep going down. Can you refresh my memory why that would happen?
There's several, as property, as income is going up, people are paying their property taxes, so you don't have as much going into the delinquent tax revolving from the interest and the administrative fees. And also there's a new legal case where individuals are able to recoup the difference between what their properties that they lost sold for, and they get that difference back where it no longer goes into the treasury.
Person's name.
The Raffaelli case.
Raffaelli.
Okay, all right, thank you. Thank
But
you.
it's good news when you have less coming into DTR because people are paying their taxes.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Commissioner Anderson and then Commissioner Baker McCormick.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thanks, Marcy, for the well-written report. I wanted to ask you, I think you touched on a number of employees had increased considerably. The FTEs, do we have a report of where it is in FTEs as compared to last year's budget?
Yeah.
And I'm looking for a historical perspective on it.
On page 9 of the actual report, it shows Well, this is as of 2024, but I could get you last year's report for this page with this year. You could compare the two. It shows the filled, budget, and vacant, and the vacancies per percentage by departments. But if you compare last year's with this year, you'd be able to compare both years on the actual report. The actual.
Oh, not in that packet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And I can find last year's. I'll have both.
Okay.
numbers.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Baker McCormick.
Get that. Okay. Oh, thank you, Mr. Chair. So in prior years, I recall us talking about the succession because that's important. You talked about that. And it was the retirees coming back to work for Wayne County, and then the contractual workers. Did we break out that group again in this report at all?
That is not something our office has looked at, but I think Personnel and Human Resources provided that information in the past.
Okay, I thought we had it broken out in the audit before, and we were looking at, okay, thank you.
Any additional questions? Commissioner Wilson.
Thank you, Chairman Kinlock. Just quickly here on page 6, I believe it is. I detected head count, employee head count. And it looks like fiscal year 2024, obviously, we filled it 75% of the budgeted positions versus 70%, right? The year before,
Correct.
Same time last year.
Correct.
So I guess what caught my invariably is the number of vacancies. It says Sheriff's Office, Circuit Court, and Public Services. Now, I guess I can categorically say that public services is near and dear to my heart because I have 3 townships and I'm getting clobbered every weekend that I'm out visiting the residents. So when you talk about public services, people we don't have the head count. The head count is people are leaving, number of vacancies are in these offices. How do we? Because let me just give you a quick example or a quick illustration. Maybe a couple of weeks ago, I was out on the weekend doing my little daily rounds in my community. And I happened to run into one of the individuals who work for DPS. I don't need to mention any names, but this individual was saying that I'm the only one out here trying to, and it's a female, and I'm trying to handle this drain issue. And I'm like, where's the rest of your crew at? And she's like, don't have any. They left, we never replaced them. So in the meanwhile, I'm getting clobbered from residents that are saying, where's the help? Where are the workers that are gonna clean these culverts, that are gonna patch up these drains, that are gonna grade these roads, that are gonna patch up the bridge that's crumbling. So as a commissioner and as a commission, our job is to represent the constituents out in our various Wayne County respective districts. And if we don't have the manpower, or in this case, people power, to handle some of these very critical issues, how do we as commissioners do our job that we're tasked to do by being elected to represent these folks? Now, when you look at the budget, and again, maybe you can't answer this, I don't know, but when you look at the budget, see there's a reduction in the budget. I think it was $90 million or something, 91 million or something from last year to this year. And I looked at here it is. So it says public service roads, there was a 1% increase from last year. Then it says public service parks, 32% increase in funding. Are we going to drive on the parks, or are we going to drive on the roads? So when I look at that, it automatically stands out to me. And then I look up a couple of lines up. A line item here says Department of Indigent Defense Services, 32% decrease. So I'm like, didn't I just hear some folks talking about people weren't getting paid enough money to represent some of the folks in our court system? And we have a 32% decrease here. So as a commissioner for 8 months, relatively new, when I see these type of numbers, maybe I'm missing something, but when you talk about decreasing our budget and you look at the things that are still happening out in our community because we have lack of funding, I'm just trying to, I'm trying to wrap my head around it, I guess.
So what happens
So-
is that in the budget hearings, each of the departments will come here because basically respond to those questions and others that we have. They have to come to us and explain why they're requesting those various amounts for the various activities and functions and operations within their wheelhouses. So Darcy won't be able to answer that. Marcy. Why do y'all, Marcy will not, Marcy, Marvy, I'm gonna change. You could call me Gus. I mean, so well, anyway, she will not be able to answer that today. Each of the departments and their respective divisions will be coming here to answer those questions. And so
I appreciate that.
No,
Thank you.
but definitely. But
I'm just somewhat confounded, that's all. It
No.
kind of doesn't add up.
keep those, hold those questions because they're questions worthy of
Absolutely.
being asked. But they will be here to
Thank you, Chair.
to ask them.
I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
Answer them.
Sorry about that, Marcy. Sorry about that. Didn't want to call you Darcy now. Marcy.
Could add
Thank
to
you.
that, though,
You could have answered it?
no, it's,
Oh, okay. How about
Yes.
that? Okay.
as of September 30th, 2024, in the Department of Public Services, there was 196 vacancies. And that's why the succession planning, recruiting, hiring, keeping people in their positions is so important. So if you can get the position filled, be able to keep them employees. But getting the position filled is what's important.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Baydun, and then Commissioner Peterson Mayberry, and then Commissioner Clemente.
Thank you.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And just so for everyone's information, we do receive reports in government apps about personnel stuff all the time, all those positions. And then I think different committees receive reports from the Sheriff's Department things. So those are always provided to us.
As far as the various vacancies, and because all of us, like public safety, they get reports on the sheriff's department,
Thank you.
as well as the prosecutors and the clerk's office. We had some serious when I first came on, it was vacancies all over the place. GovOps, that's the hub of where the HR
Yes.
information
Yes,
flows through that.
thank you, Commissioner, because I do read through the GovOps, but that wasn't really my inquiry.
Oh,
My inquiry is is
okay.
where the people, we got openings, we got shortages, we got roads need to be patched, we got folks, yards are flooding. I'm saying we got openings. People I talked to who work in the department said, where are the people at? You didn't answer my question, but thank you anyway.
Oh, wow. Okay, so thank you. Thank you, Marcy.
Thank you, Marcy.
Thank you, Marcy.
I think it's serious. I'm not saying anybody else doesn't, but this is my job. This is what I get elected to do. Ain't nobody gonna tell me how to do my job. When people out there kicking me in my tail, saying we ain't getting our job done. And I'm out there. So, but I appreciate everybody saying, thank you so much. Let's keep working together. Thank you.
Absolutely.
This ain't no union. Sorry.
Al.
I'm sorry.
Okay, no, we're gonna go into order of the day. Commissioner Baydun
I
and.
wanted to say one thing,
Okay,
that
sir.
the DPS report will be in the city of Livonia on September 16th. So that would be a good one for you to go to.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, Commissioner Baydun, Commissioner Baydun.
Are you sure it's Baydun? Not, just kidding.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Marcy, with an M, for a very powerful and informative presentation. To Commissioner Wilson's point, I was looking at these numbers. Yes, it's a valid question. We do need to ask these questions, Commissioner Wilson, when we get to the right departments. I agree with you. I'm concerned about the public service and the roads, how much, how come there's no increase? And we know we all have issues with the roads. Marcy, regarding the general fund on page 2, we have an increase in property tax revenues of 13.3, which I think translates to about 7.8% increase in property tax revenue. And if we get another increase this coming year of 7%, it would be about 14 million. I want to go to page 11. There's a $10 million decrease in transfer to the county's general fund. And that's mainly, you talked about the 30 million in 2023 and then 2024, 20 million. Do you expect this number to go down by another 10 million and then the following year by another few millions? Or do you see a trend or no?
I think the issue is what the treasurer is going to declare as a surplus.
Correct.
It's up to the treasurer to declare the surplus and then transfer it. So it's up to him is what he believes is going to be a surplus.
But what you mentioned as it relates to the formula, that's something that myself and the chair had in council were talking about addressing a couple of years ago.
Right.
And so we will go back to that those conversations.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Anyone else have any questions? Oh, Commissioner Peterson Mayberry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair. So I'm back on page 6, and I guess I know at the appropriate time, we will talk more about the staffing. And so, and I think, Marcy, you were spot on to say, I don't think we should be really excited about the fact that, you know, our overtime costs have decreased because we have open positions, and we know overtime, that's not sustainable to constantly work the personnel that we have. So what I'm hoping, Mr. Chair, is that at the appropriate time, we hear about what the recruitment process is. I know Donna came and spoke to us about even the exit interviews, and we kind of picked that apart in terms of what questions, because the amount of individuals who are actually participating was extremely low. So I'm not sure if we're capturing the information that we need so that we can retain. Outside of the sheriff's office, which I've seen that plastered everywhere about their recruitment efforts, I'm wondering for those other areas that are extremely short, what the recruitment efforts are. So I'm looking forward to that conversation so we can close these gaps.
That's a good point. I think that in the budget process, we can touch on it, but that is something good that all of the departments have oversight in various departments should periodically, like the Public Safety Committee, they get regular detailed explanation on what their recruitment process is. And I guess it'd be good to touch on that. We'll touch on that in the budget hearings, but on a regular update, I think that the chair should ask the committees we oversee to get regular updates on what you're doing as far as recruiting. Yep. Okay. I know in our public service department, we get updates as it relates to what they're doing and the vacancies, equipment, and those things there. But yep. So thank you. That's a great suggestion.
Thank you. And I'm just saying, you know, we can't keep recruiting how we've been recruiting in the past, because we're going to keep getting what we're getting, very low numbers. So whatever this innovative way that we need to recruit, some of us are on the tail end of our careers. We want to make sure that the succession plan is in place so that we have people who want to be here and we find out how to reach those people.
I agree.
So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So any additional questions? Okay. That was a question. Okay. So well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marcy.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Through the chair, may we have a motion to pass this item
Oh,
for the day?
thank you. Motion is in order to pass for the day. The budget has been moved and supported by Commissioner Clemente. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? This item stands approved. Next item on the agenda, Madam Clerk.
Item E, new business, there is none listed. Moving to item F, such are the matters as may be properly submitted before the committee.
Only thing I would like to do at this time is to remind everyone that our next meeting will be Tuesday, September 9th. Our next hearing will be Tuesday, September 9th, and that will be held here at 12 noon in this committee room. And on that day, we'll be hearing from the Treasurer's Office. Thank you. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Item G, public comments.
Madam Clerk, at this time, I'd like for you to unmute the microphone for those individuals.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. 2 minutes. Look at him. Now. Okay, yes. Okay, at this time, I'd like for you to open up the microphones and recognize individuals who are joining us, who would like to address this committee, to raise their hands if they would like to address us. And I'd like to also remind all of those who are giving comments that you have 2 minutes to address this committee. Madam Clerk?
There's no one on Zoom wishing to make a public comment, and no emails were received.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to ask, is there anyone present joining us in person who would like to address this committee? Anyone in person? Public comment is closed. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Item H, adjournment.
Motion is in order. It's been moved by Baidoon, supported by Anderson. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed?